Hi, it's me again, and TV licence enforcement is never far from the news, especially in local papers, is it? Now, I'm in the Swindon Advertiser at the minute for some reason, and I stumbled across this one. I thought we could have a chat about it. Because we talk sometimes about the telly licence stuff on this channel, don't we? Can TV licence officers force their way into your home? Expert explains all. I'm not the expert. I'm not an expert in many things. So, it's not me. But it's one I get a lot about the TV licence enforcement officers. Many people do believe that they have the powers like police or bailiffs or something. And if they ask to come in, you have to let them. I get this by email quite often, and it's not true. So let's see what the Swindon Advertiser has to say about this. If you're ever on social media, chances are you'll have seen an argument between a TV licence officer and a member of the public. If you're on my YouTube, maybe. But TikTok's quite big on stuff like that now, isn't it? Several instances have been known to go viral. All right, blah, blah, blah. Who wrote this? What's his name? Matthew Evans. I'm going to skip that part, Matthew Evans, because boring. Enforcement reporter Sarhan Basim from Brussels Morning. What's Brussels Morning? There's a link there. It's like some sort of EU publication. What have they got to do with any of this? Anyway, he explains it all. Well, they explain it all. What are the powers of TV licence inspectors? Right, the juicy stuff. Under UK law, TV licensing officers ensure that residents pay the appropriate licence fee if they watch or record live TV broadcasts or use BBC iPlayer. Actually, correct information from a local paper. Watch or record live TV broadcasts or use BBC iPlayer. Okay, I'm getting concerned that this might have good advice in it. However, the powers of these officers are more limited than you might assume. Is this going to be good? Is this going to be good advice in here? Key points. No automatic right of entry. TV licensing officers do not have an automatic right to enter private property. They can only request entry and may visit to assess whether a TV licence is needed. That's worryingly accurate for once. You don't think that's odd? They cannot just say, I want to come in and check your equipment, missus. They can't do that. The only way they can get in is if you invite them or if they have a warrant, and warrants are exceedingly rare. Anyway, search warrants required. If an officer suspects a breach of licence law but is refused entry, they must obtain a court-issued search warrant to legally enter a home. Without this, the homeowner is not obligated to let them in. Fair enough, you're not obligated to let them in. But suspecting a breach of licence law probably isn't going to be enough to get a warrant. It's hard to find out how many warrants are issued per year. It's less than 10. And when you think 500,000 extra people a year are stopping paying a licence fee, sub 10 on the warrants thing, it's a token gesture. They only do it so they can say they do it. That's the only reason they do it. But they would need some kind of evidence. Not just, this bloke didn't speak to me on his doorstep, I'm going to go get a warrant. It doesn't work like that. They won't get one. They need some kind of evidence. If you speak to them, you could give them some kind of evidence. That's why we say, if one knocks on your door, hello mate, who are you? Hello, I'm from TV licensing. No thanks mate, shut the door. You've given them nothing. You've not dropped yourself in it, even though you shouldn't be doing something you shouldn't be doing. And you've given them no reason to suspect you're doing anything wrong. These people are door-to-door salesmen. You can turn them away. Do not talk to them. And then they can't get a warrant. Privacy rights. As a resident, you are within your rights to refuse entry to TV licensing officers if they do not present a search warrant, correct? Homeowners should understand that forcing entry without a valid warrant is a breach of privacy and could lead to legal action. I can't say I've heard of that happening. Some of them are quite pushy. Most of them are complete arseholes. Just turn them away. No thank you, mate. Shut the door. Some of them swear. Some of them get quite rude. I used to say, back in the day when I first started this channel, many years ago now, don't film them, don't antagonise them. Just be nice, be polite, shut the door. I still go with the nice polite. There's no need to be rude to anybody. They're scummy people doing a scummy job. There's no need to be rude to them. But I do now say, film it. If one knocks on your door, if you've got a video doorbell, you're laughing anyway, you can just tell them to jog through that, can't you? And it's filming all the time as well. And then send it to me so I can put it on a channel and show their faces to everybody. But if, you open the door, hello, I'm from TV licensing, just start filming them. They have to report that to their superiors anyway, and they're going to behave differently than if you weren't filming them. I promise you. I guarantee they behave differently if you're filming them versus not filming them. Because they know it's just going to end up on social media. Consequences of non-compliance. While TV licensing officers are limited in their powers without a warrant, they don't have any powers without a warrant. None. They're door-to-door salesmen. There are no powers. Non-compliance with TV licensing regulations can still lead to serious consequences. Yeah, true. If a resident is found to be using television services illegally without the required licence, they may face a fine of up to £1,000 and possible court prosecution. Now, I never condone watching stuff. If you don't pay the licence fee, don't watch or record anything that's being broadcast, don't access BBC iPlayer. I've always said that. I always will say that. Let's say, for instance, you weren't. I'm sure some of you don't always play by the rules, right? So let's say, for instance, that you were doing something dodgy. How would they know? Detective vans are a myth. Doesn't happen. They've got vans with TV licenses on it. They're not detecting anything in 2025. How would they know? There is only one way. You either tell them when they're talking to you on the doorstep, and they'll keep you talking as long as possible. They're very good at it, some of them. And they know the longer they can keep you talking, the more chance you've got of dropping yourself in it. Or you'll let them in to inspect your equipment. That's the only possible way you could be found to be using anything illegally. If you go, no thank you mate, you shut the door, how are they going to find anything out? They can't. The fine of up to £1,000, yes, that is the maximum fine that can be given out. You've watched this channel, I'm sure, before. You'll know that the average fine, £150. Possible court prosecution, yes, and you can you can't go to prison for non-payment of the TV licence. But if they issue you a fine and you don't pay the fine, you could possibly get a custodial sentence, all for watching a bit of telly. Ridiculous. But Swindon Advertiser, that's actually some useful information in here, which is odd. Who's this? Sarhan Basim from Brussels Morning emphasises the importance of knowing your rights. While it's essential to comply with TV licensing laws, homeowners must understand that TV licensing officers do not have automatic right of entry. If a resident feels uncomfortable or unsure, they are under no obligation to let anyone into their homes unless presented with a valid search warrant. I would have liked to have had that say, if a resident feels uncomfortable or unsure, they are under no obligation to even talk to these people. They're door-to-door salesmen. They're not enforcement officers. They're not both. They're not anything important. They are salesmen. I'd have liked to have seen that in there. But otherwise, pretty fair play from the Swindon Advertiser, isn't it? It's not often one of these local paper ones do a fair job. So well done to you, Matthew Evans. I don't know why you've got someone from Brussels Morning discussing it when there's plenty of people in this country. There's TV Licensing Blog. There's TV License Resistance Forum are very good. They know a lot of stuff. Taught me loads of stuff that I know. There's, me. They could have talked to me. No one ever does, obviously. You've got Black Belt Barrister. There's many other YouTubers. I can't name them all, but there's a lot of people on YouTube. You could have reached out to any of those. They're all experts. You didn't need an EU specialist. But otherwise, fair enough. What do you think about this? Let me know your thoughts on it down in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching. Hit the buttons and everything as well, because if you do all that, hopefully I'll see you in another video again soon, won't I? Ta-da.